Hi guys, look at that shorthand. Fantastic. How's it going? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the process again. Look how much crazy stuff I had to do to get rid of that writing. So today what we're doing a daily sketch. And I like to try and do one of these every day. Since I've started using reference more and more, I've started to do these. And I've been so inspired to do them as well. So I've been having crazy fun doing these. I always use different techniques, so I'm not exactly sure what techniques I'll use today. So I can't actually show you the reference image because it's on my iMac, which is not obviously this iPad, which Procreate's on. I have my iMac loaded up. I have Pinterest loaded up, and I have a cool kind of image of a guy with a really cool coat. Because I've got this whole thing I've been doing recently, these characters in these kind of like swag items, jackets, coats, stuff like that, like a bunch of like cool like large items. And I've called the clothing brand like Teef Co, like TEEF .co. The reason I've done that is because in Jamaican culture, a thief is somebody that's a thief, and a thief or a thief could be related to a bandit. Typically a lot of my favorite characters tend to be like the more bandit variety types. So what I do is I get myself a reference that I like and I loosely kind of utilize it to create like my image. I don't directly copy it. I just kind of loosely utilize it. And I use other references too to kind of come up with the image that I'm trying to come with. This reference, in my opinion, is pretty cool. Of this character kind of just standing there, really. He's not doing much. Obviously, my character will be. My character will be doing the most because that's just how I like to get down. Like, so I just want to throw this out there. In the actual reference, this right here, this arm does not exist. I'm adding this. So that's another example of me doing the most. I'm adding this arm because I want more action in the image. Because I typically like all my images to be some kind of action image over anything else. That's like my key thing. And I might put a sickle in his hand. I don't know, how do I feel about sickles, right? But yo, it is so like when I listen to Sam Does Arts and he talks about like how he uses reference. And it's funny because Sam Does Arts is literally a kid to me. I'm 31. Sam Does Arts is probably like 20 something. He's young, right? But when I talk about like when I listen to him, and not just him, everyone talk about like, hey, how they use reference and how good it makes like your process in terms of like not using reference. It makes me really like realize that how long I've been like holding myself back artistically. Because using reference is like it's opened so many pathways in my head to like new ideas and stuff. And it's weird because most regular people just use reference, but me, I always have to be kind of like a crazy person and not do that. So, for a long time, I've been not using reference when I should have been using reference. And it's been, a hindrance. Now I'm asking myself, do I want to kind of have this character have his eyes closed? So here and now what I'm doing is I'm establishing like how I want his kind of like base elements to be in terms of like is he wearing gloves, yada yada yada. The answer is yes. So I'm quickly just doing black fills. Now I do black fills because with this type of thing, quite honestly, I like to be able to quickly fill in shapes to establish different areas. The issue is my idea was to possibly have a see-through jacket. Now it really depends on how painty I get with this. But as of right now, I'm thinking, because I've done all these daily sketches a little bit different. As of right now, I'm thinking, okay, I want to do something that's kind of mixed with photo. So photo and kind of like paint mixed. As of this moment, this character has no hair. I don't really draw characters without hair. Is he going to stay bold? The reference, by the way, is not bold. The reference is a black guy with, he's got like something like this going on. Something like that. My character seems like he might be staying bold. I'm not quite sure right now. Okay. Throwing in more blacks for that weapon. But yeah, okay. So I'm cool with this the way it is. I'm cool with just starting to go straight into the painting section. So as I said, these are daily sketches, so they're not these crazy carved out pieces, but it will probably get more carved out as I go along. So what I like to do is duplicate the base layer, so I always have like a reference layer. And I might even, while I'm here, just gonna get a screenshot of this just so I have like a... All right, we're back. I took a screenshot because I like to have a reference image of when I started. Not for reference, I just like to have an image of like the start point of the process. So I just found out that when you press the lock button, it stops your recording. I did not know that. So that's new. So we're in the process now. We're going to start like fleshing out the character a little bit. Start figuring out all the things about the character that we want to keep. We're going to start adding some base colors. I don't mess around. I go straight into that stuff. So the reference has a green coat. I'm going to go more of a kind of high blue. Just because this is more my color. I think I'll do green maybe next daily sketch. I think. And the way I'm going to do this painting, it's hard to explain, but it's going to be very much... a lot of it's not going to be blended colors. It's going to be like flat color painting. So it's not going to be like, oh yeah, we're doing a bunch of paint. It's just not going to be that. Now, me personally, I think the red looks really cool. So that might be a shout. Maybe this dude's just red. Maybe that's why he's bold. Maybe he's some kind of like deity. He's come down. So I have this concept I'm working on, and I've been working on it for a while. And this kind of a piece could very much be part of that universe. And it's quite often you do these sketches, because a lot of the stuff I do is very much in a similar theme, so I can possibly use the characters later, because I absolutely love character design. And that's another reason why I kind of love reference, because I've always said this even before, like, so to give you guys some information, I'm 31 years old. And in my entire life, I've barely used reference, 10 times. So now I'm using reference. I just feel happy. I feel like I'm doing art more than, like, I feel like the way I'm creating art is a lot more right than it used to be, which is mad for me, because I've made art every day, but it's always been from my imagination. So any other stuff you see me do, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times is just my imagination. There's no reference, there's nothing. It's just how I felt about like set subject matter, and I decided to like bring it to life. Literally. So a lot of the stuff that I've done, in my opinion, could have been much better if I just said, "Hey, let's get some reference, man." But I just never did. So now I am. It's like, yo, we're a different animal now, and that's how I feel. I actually feel like a different animal. Like I feel like people can't. Like I just feel like you're different now. Like you're a beast. Like, before you was doing something, but like now you're like a beast, and it's like you're obviously a beast. So just keep that in mind. Now the mental process is like, yeah, you're just a beast. You know what I mean? Not in an evil beast kind of devilly way, no. You're a beast, like you're really powerful. I don't know why this isn't filling, but we'll find out on the next fill. So anyone that hasn't used Procreate before, you make, a selection or you make a shape out of something, you make sure all the edges are filled, and you just kind of can drag the color in, and it's really cool, right? But yeah, these daily sketches, really enjoying them. In terms of, whoa, a lot of notifications. In terms of just kind of every day sitting down and doing something. But as I said, I'm also enjoying the opportunity to draw from reference. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to make a multiply layer on top of that layer. I'm going to make a clipping mask, and I'm going to make this outfit kind of see-through. So I'm going to take, because the reference, as I said, has a see-through element where you can see through this coat. And I wasn't going to do it, but I thought, well, why not? So we're here now. Get that brown. Boom. Now I think I'll make that even less harsh. Boom. There we go. Ooh, see-through outfit. See-through coat. Yay. Just like that. Right? Just like that. Get this color again, and we'll just kind of go in and make some shadow shapes. Now, I want to break down as well. I want to go over, like, I'm a very experienced digital painter. I've literally been digital painting, I don't know, since 2008, And a lot of that stuff has been done the hard way, in terms of I taught myself to paint on one layer. So a lot of the stuff you see me do, if you feel like you struggle to do it, just don't worry, because I literally would, as I said, I would paint on one layer. Like now that is just one layer again, right? And it will all be one layer soon. I'm just gonna clean up the lines a little bit, because I don't think the lines need to have so many just lines going out of whack. I can just clean up some of it. Let's sort out that head shape. I do kind of like this kind of sharp head shape though. I do like it. Stuff like this makes me think about One Piece. So recently, in the past year or so, past couple years actually, but more the past year or so, I've really got into One Piece. And I get it. I get why everyone loves it. There was a time when I was like, it's goofy. It looks weird. Why are the character design so crazy? And then you realize, like, it's just the beauty of One Piece. Like, the author Oda is just creating his own world, and he is unrestricted by, like, people's feelings on his world. And when you see somebody who's just unhinged like that in their own creativity, like, he's just unhinged, like, he just doesn't care. Like, he just does. He's got characters that are just, he's got an island in One Piece with a bunch of, like, cross-dressers, just a bunch of cross-dressers. And I know there's a bunch of people that won't like that and stuff, but it's just an interesting concept that, like, he has everything in One Piece. He has, characters that would be classified as, like, superheroes. He has robots. He has monsters. He has people that are giants. He has fishmen. He has, politics, and he has kings and queens. He has humans that are 10 foot tall, but they're just regular people. He has animal people. He's got giant monsters like giant kaiju all in the ocean. Like, the One Piece world is mad interesting, and as I said, I have just come to that point where I understand exactly why people love it. You know what I'm trying to say? I understand exactly why people love it, and I support them in their quest, because I also love One Piece now. So if you haven't seen One Piece and you're just completely out of the loop, if you want to know the concept, it's about a young guy that wants to be king of the pirates. You know, it's like an anime title, really. It's hard to explain. So when I say anime title, I just mean it's the ambiguous version of something like king of the pirates. He just wants to be the greatest pirate of his era, basically. Or maybe of all time. Because there was one other king of the pirates, spoiler alert, that guy dies at the start of the series. And that's pretty much the reason why your character kind of wants to become the king, because he wants to kind of fill that void and be well known and be respected. But he also has this whole mantra of becoming like a different type of pirate that isn't negative. So, you know, pirates have a negative connotation, and Luffy is quite positive. If you could even call him like a hero to a degree, because he does a lot of heroics within the series. But yeah, One Piece is great. It's, you know, it has its very annoying anime parts and stuff, but, you know, if you're a manga reader, you probably have a better experience, to be honest, than the anime. But yeah, me personally, I'm a big fan, and I'm so invested in what's gonna happen next in One Piece. I'm so invested in the characters. I'm so invested in the world building. Like, I'm so inspired as somebody that likes to world build. I'm so inspired to see what Oda does with the series. And it makes me kind of want to make whatever series I'm thinking about creating or whatever. It just makes me want to make them better. So, you know, shout out One Piece. One Piece is doing it big. We'll get back to this whole drawing process thing. So as you can see, we've kind of come with this concept now. A character, he's in colour, you know, his weapon's in colour, he's standing around. You know, now is the time I start thinking a little bit about background, but I'm not that fussed about it. But as you can see, like, pretty much the base character design is done. The base character design is done. You know, he's got this weapon, he's swinging it around, I guess. We haven't done much painting on the weapon, to be fair. So we could get that cracking. We could kind of make the weapon a little bit better, I guess. Add some formal function to it and stuff. Now, the thing about color, right? In real life, there are a lot of subtle value changes that aren't really detected. This, like, unless you paint them. So with a lot of concepts like this, what you can do is you could subtly kind of go in and out of changing the value, and you could create different effects. You know, hue, saturation, brightness, all of that. And you can create different effects. And when you zoom out, it's much more convincing a form than just something that doesn't have those subtle changes in value. So just keep that in mind. And there's many ways to do it. Now, another thing I like to do right here, so that was very quick. We kind of went over to the sword very quickly and touched up the sword extremely quickly. So I want to give this guy a third eye, because I'm sold on this idea that he's some kind of deity within this realm. I'm sold on it. He's some type of deity. He's come down for some reason. We're not exactly sure why. He's come down, and he's seeking out someone. You know, I'm not going to mention my original character's name, in this video because I'm kind of working on that seriously, and that's something I take actually serious. But I do think I could use this guy in one of my series, because I had this idea about these characters that come down from like heaven to kind of hunt him type thing. Not hunt, but they come down to kind of try and regulate like his movements and say to him like, yo, some of the stuff you're doing, you can't be doing. You know, one of them comes to arrest him so he can stand trial. He actually does stand trial. Even though there's a bunch of people like on his side, like resisting with him, like it doesn't matter. Like they can't stop these heavenly guys. So I think it's cool to kind of have this guy kind of come along and be part of that concept. I think maybe I'll give him this little weird Chinese hairstyle then. He's from like heaven in this verse. Do I like it? It's cool, but I don't really like it being hair. I wouldn't mind if it's just like something that's like behind his head that like conveys information to him or something like that. Put a little ring around it, make it so it's like more than one. I'm gonna add some text to this guy. Just adding little bits of detail to the weapon. Because I can imagine if it was like, you know, a heavenly person's weapon, it would have like some details and stuff on it. Remember, this is see-through, so we can kind of draw through it a little bit. Boom. I go a little bit quiet. I probably shouldn't do that, but yeah, just more details on the weapon. How long we've been doing this? Procreate will tell us, look, Procreate is interesting like that. So you go to canvas information, statistics, 23 minutes, not bad. I do like to keep these kind of short, but not ultra short, but just short. This one's the most kind of graphic one I've done because I use bold colors. I actually really enjoyed this. Eyes just closed, you know. Normally I'd add like a graphic element like this, kind of like laser just fucking blinging off. And I think this is pretty cool, to be honest. Now, coolest way to do stuff like this, in my opinion, is to set this to color fill and to freehand your lasso tool and just make shapes. The lasso tool is extremely powerful. Anyone that was previously a Photoshop user will know that. I've noticed that Procreate users haven't really caught on yet. The ones that used Photoshop, they know, but y'all guys that just use Procreate, y'all don't know nothing. Like, y'all don't know that how powerful this shit is. Now, the issue with that is it kind of goes straight through my entire painting. So what I like to do is copy the layer, then I'll go back a few steps. Then I'll just paste, right? So with that being pasted, now we have a safe bottom layer. if we decide we kind of want to go back. At any point, we go, hey, we want to go back. We've got a safe layer. We can go back, you know. So another thing a lot of people don't know. So when you're painting like energy, a lot of it is just color variation. Like you can just kind of add different colors, and that includes dark and lights. So I would always recommend adding some dark tones too. Not too dark, but dark tones as well. Because people think, oh, I just add light tones. Add both. Add both. Now, the issue with doing this on a layer that isn't independent is that if it was on an independent layer, I could glow it on its own. I could just make it glow. But that doesn't matter, because what I'm going to do now is start adding background elements. So I get this tone from my sword and just start kind of faffing around with background elements. Couple shapes here and there. We're going to fill a few of them in. We're going to leave a few of them blank. I think we're going to concede the ground a little bit. Okay. So I still want to create a ground plane, so I'm not really going to go crazy with a lot of this stuff. The ground plane still exists for me. But for like environment stuff, we could just create some silhouettes. Some of these things speak for themselves, quite honestly, because it's going to be quite an abstract piece anyway. My iMac went off, so I had to click my screen back on. Okay, so I think I'll get rid of the glow for now, or the laser. The laser was really cool though, or whatever it was. Was it a laser? Was it something else? Who knows? Same trick again. We're gonna get the lasso tool. We're gonna make some like comic book cut lines. I have no idea where I started, so I can't finish. Strange. Start again. I'm gonna hit color balance real quick. I always use color balance. I don't use curves because I really will hit midtones. So I use color balance because I wanted to differentiate the color of the sword versus the color of the background. The sword was looking kind of washed out. I didn't like it. Now I really like that. I really like how that has turned out. Like that is crazy interesting. I think I'll add some more of these cut lines to other places. Some cloudage. So if you get like this color here, I'll grab this, then I go a little bit further down. And I get the lasso tool again. So guys, use your lasso tool, please. The lasso tool is good. The lasso tool helps It helps a lot of stuff. For some reason, it won't get this color for me. I just want this color. Okay. So hit the selection. Now I've got it. Okay. Go higher. So now, all I'm doing is going in with the lasso tool again, or the selection tool, if that's what you want to call it. I call it lasso tool because I'm a Photoshop guy from years ago. Used to lug Photoshop around with my laptop everywhere I went. We'd be at Starbucks, we'd be at a dinner, we'd be anywhere, I'd start painting. I used to go to work and paint. I used to be a youth worker, so whilst I'm hanging around with the kids at work, I just paint some stuff. You know. Okay. Let me grab this color and I'll grab this color and we'll go down a little bit, just a tidbit. We'll do the same thing down here. We'll add some cut lines here. Cut lines for the win. Just graphic elements, just a bunch of graphic elements. And then now I'll show you guys some of the brushes I use. So I got this brush pack from this guy, I think his name's something McCain, Michael McCain. And he has these really cool brush packs. And they're kind of just like these kind of concept arty brush packs. You just kind of go in and you just dab. So I had this kind of really cool clean thing. Now I've kind of like dismantled it. And I don't mind doing that because my thing is, maybe it's this character's power that's doing that. Maybe that's just how powerful he is, or, you know, it could be anything, right? We don't actually know the situation. Plus, usually, I'll be real, I like to blur my backgrounds as well. So, you know, the background might not be as prevalent in the end. So let's go into this character. We'll make a clipping mask. And we'll go back to the brush we were using for most of the process, which was, I think it was this brush I call Lobster Squirrel. I think it was, right? Lobster Squirrel was a guy on Instagram. For a long period of time, he was just posting a bunch of videos of him drawing, and he built a little following, and I really like his stuff. It's not really my type of stuff, but I really just dig it. I just think it's cool. So what I'm doing now is just adding some base, some kind of like special effect highlights. In my opinion, they're not really realistic highlights. You know, because it's like he seems like he's outside. But then again, outside you could have multiple light sources. There's a bunch of stuff there could be. But for the most part, there's going to be like one main light source, and you're going to be able to see kind of like what that light source is about and yada, yada, yada. So this might not really be applicable, but we do it anyway, right? And then it justifies that white line there. Boom. You know? Boom. Boom. On this arm. Boom. Boom. Hand. Boom. So yeah. Top of the head. Boom. These. Boom. Each side. Boom. Boom. Okay, we'll do maybe a line on the nose. Yeah, maybe just kind of get the dynamic form and shape of the face. Cool. And then maybe the top of that ear. So yeah, it's like double lighted. I think because it's hitting from the top, I think I'll get rid of the one on the back of him. Maybe, yeah. I think I'll get rid of all the back. We'll just say it's hitting front side. Now what I like to do with these highlights is, first of all, I was gonna up their saturation, but I'm just gonna half turn them. I think full color looks better than screen print because it kind of uses what you've got. I just want to see what newspaper looks like. So I'm just trying my different halftone settings. Cool nonetheless. Because it kind of has like some of that kind of like Spider-Verse type stuff to the image. And I think that's a perfect thing to do with the background, is just like, just half tone it, duplicate. I might use this background in another painting and just flip it. So I'm going to keep a base version of it, right? Without all the distortion and stuff. Don't need the colors tab no more. So I'll keep that base version of it, bring back our one. And I think I will just hit that with half tone, boom. I actually really like that. It's weird how much I like that. And then, you know, we got to do the final details, right? So the final details of this. It might seem funny, but, you know, as I said this at the start. We're going in and we're adding a bunch of writing. So, and there's a text tool in Procreate, but, you know, I don't really use it. Very good text tool. Teeth.co. And I did a design earlier for my clothing brand, and I did the teeth.co stuff on that as well. Just add like an X with 2 dots on it. Maybe he's got a face tattoo. You don't know what he's about. Okay, this hand. But, you know, because the piece is quite rough, a lot of these things don't matter. Like, a lot of these details just don't mean anything. But, yeah, I just like to make little shapes. So I'll make a shape here. And I'll add, like, another shape underneath it. And I'll just carve, like, some writing into this. I'll just put, like, chosen, capital E for no reason. Getting, chosen. I'll get that, hold that, and I'll just put at the end 1. And I'll just do some like imaginary symbols. So in the reference, the coat has a bunch of writing on it, but I kind of elected to not do that for whatever reason. You know, usual mad scientist stuff. So I need to remake. So when I used to use Photoshop, there's a time when your boy was broke, right? When I was young, and I had a Mac, but for some reason I preferred to use Photoshop on a Windows computer. In fact, wait, this was before the Mac. I think. I'm not exactly sure, because I remember there was a period when I was using both for whatever reason. I was using an old Windows machine and a Mac that was fairly kind of up to date at that time. And just gonna write dark for no reason, just dark, just write it. So I was using a Mac and a Windows computer, right? And the Windows computer was older and it ran Adobe Photoshop CS2. That's how far back we're going, right? It ran CS2 so well. So I said, okay, it runs CS2 really well. So, because it runs CS2 so well, I'm just going to paint in CS2 when I'm on this machine. So, because CS2 ran really well on that machine, and because, you know, it was convenient for me to use that machine when I was at home and stuff, what I ended up doing was doing a bunch of work on that machine and making a custom CS2 brush pack, because obviously CS2 wasn't the same as CS5 and it wasn't as good and it wasn't as powerful, and a lot of the things like dual brush and that it couldn't handle. So I just used to use brushes with straight regular texture, not even dual brush, when I used CS2. But those brushes, some of them were really cool. Like I made like some text stuff that I used to just stamp on my pieces, and now I feel like I need that stuff. Like now I'm like, yo, I need stamps on mine. Like I need text stamps for this. Like this painting right now, I'm like, yo, where's your text stamps? Because you're out here writing stuff like a bum. So next daily sketch, I might just make a bunch of text stamps so I don't have to do this. Like, so I don't have to go around writing like fantastic. But as I said, I just write stuff. I just like plaster stuff all over the piece. However I want as well. Like however I want. Because this is my universe, bro. And I think that's another thing as well. With art, try and be unhinged. It's yours. You own it. It's yours. You did this, you know? Nobody else did this. You did. You're a G. Big circle on the back. Boom. Another circle. Boom. Little face on the back. Let's go. Okay, I think that's cool. I think I'm good with that, right? I think I'm going to write a few things across the bottom. In fact, nah, we're good. I think we're good for a daily sketch today. I think we did well with this. The only area of no development is pretty much the shoes. Some color. We'll add some color trends here and there. But yeah, they didn't really get much development, if I'm being dead honest. And I don't care. You know, the piece wasn't about them. You know? Okay. Do I want to add any like effects or anything to it? I always like to add one of these. This is cool. Okay, let's fill that with, and then drop the opacity. I'm adding like sparks and FX lines. Sorry guys, I went a little silent there, didn't I? I do apologize. Clipping mask. We'll throw this on top. We'll make it a little bit more yellow, a little bit less. We'll merge those down. So I'm adding like some sparks and stuff, just to, I don't know, show that I'm scratching the weapon across the floor. I might, these lines here, I'm gonna take the color fill off and I'm just gonna motion blur these ones. I'm gonna probably take a 1 multiply layer over the top of the character. Just a thing I like to do, just to add like base shadow. So I'll take a warmish color. In fact, we'll go a little bit cool with this one, and we'll just go in and we'll just add some shadows. We've already got shadows, but we'll add more. Boom. Just add that final layer of depth. Boom, right under the ear. I'm like, why am I getting so much resistance from all these shadows? Okay. It's because yeah, a lot of the stuff wasn't merged down. So now we can go in unstopped and we can just kind of shadow up this guy. Wait a minute. What am I missing? Did I just destroy my okay. Remove this, put this at the bottom. I think if we get rid of that as well, the laser version, because I'm not using that. In fact, we never know. Put it at the bottom, okay? Because you never know, guys. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna merge all of those layers so far, and then I'm gonna make another multiply layer on top. I'm gonna clip and mask that to this one. Boom, and then I'm gonna go in with my dark shade, do all that stuff again because I didn't want to lose those shoe details. And sometimes, and this is why I quite often do complain about using layers. Sometimes when you use layers, you do lose things that you didn't want to lose because you accidentally do something, and it'll be like, oh, that destroyed that, or blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, these things happen, but it is frustrating sometimes. So that is another reason why a lot of the time when I used to paint stuff, you should just use one layer and just kind of like not mess around with layers too much. You know, sometimes you really need them, like in intermittently, like, but sometimes you don't. Like, I could have painted a lot of this on one layer. It's just a lot of the stuff like the background and that is better to do on more than one layer for the simple fact that you can like mess around with stuff, manipulate stuff. But I probably could have painted a lot of this on one layer. That speech, that little smoke cloud, I don't mind it, but I don't think it helps anything. I'm gonna get rid of it. All right, so I do think we're finished with this daily sketch. I think we did well, guys. I really enjoyed the process. I really enjoyed kind of going through this process with y'all. You know, let's do a flip horizontal. Yeah, I think this is cool. Either way you flip it, it's cool. You know, I've got one more idea that I want to do quickly. I always like to do this. I have some FX brushes right here. I like to add like some flitters. I call them flitters. They're just dust. It's just dust and stuff. You know, just extra little particles. Love it. And then I also like to add birds. So just to show that like things exist in this world, you know. And they're in my Patterns pack. He has a brush called Birds at the bottom. I'm just going to get that and just going to glaze some birds over, really. I think I'll go darker colour over lighter colour because so the bottom one, I'll hit that with a motion blur. And then the birds, I'll leave them. But yeah, that is it. I didn't do much for that then, but I'm cool with it. And that is the process, guys. So that is how I kind of go through a daily sketch. There's a few things I could do now just to finish off, actually. So I thought I was going to be finished, but boom, we hit overlay. Overlay is so good. We get a soft round. And we get like a yellowy colour because, you know how we get. And we just kind of touch up the canvas, but that's too close to white. We want something that's a little bit more yellowy, right? and we can kind of go boom, and we can show like this light source, why it's so powerful, because look how hot that kind of yellow is, right? And you can see it on everything. Then when we've kind of like painted it in, at least it makes sense, right? And you can do glows with a bunch of different brush settings, but I like overlay is my favorite because I feel like overlay is the most unpredictable one. And that is it. I'm done. I think I think this is a stellar piece. I'm gonna hit this with a curves just to pop the colors a little bit. Boom, boom. See how that looks? Differences. Whoa, that's a lot. But what we'll do is we'll just drop the opacity a tiny bit, okay? And then we'll have a look at the difference again. I'm cool with it. Okay. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Keep making art. Keep watching anime, keep watching films, keep branching out, keep making decisive decisions, and then enjoy the process as much as you can, Use reference, please, 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 please. Use reference. Reference should be driving you guys' processes right now, okay? And I wish it was driving mine when I was younger, because, this is literally from a photo of a dude who was just had his back turned to the camera, and I've decided to create this whole image and this whole kind of like concept, and this whole idea in my head has been born. So there's a lot you can do if you just get some reference. You just believe, in what you are capable of. So right now what I'm doing is chromatic aberration, which is something I do damn near every piece because I love it. And I've loved it for years, but, they made it a feature in Procreate, didn't they? So here it is. So what I'm going to do, now I've distorted my image, I'm going to get a soft brush. And I'm just going to start erasing. Yeah, I'm saying, so you start erasing, and then you can kind of get back some details, lose some details, get back some details, lose some details, get back some sharpness, lose some sharpness. But it's just really cool. And if you're into, like me, if you're really into that kind of like Spider-Verse style, you'll like chromatic aberration because it's in the film a lot, And as this image doesn't have that much crazy points of interest, it's like you can use chromatic aberration a lot. So yeah, guys, that is it. I'm going to get my logo and I'm going to dab it up. And that is a daily sketch complete. Right there, that Fiji logo. Boom, boom. Just going to dab it. Boom, you've been dabbed. Daily sketch done. We're going to move that logo a little bit. Make that on a new layer and we'll just dab again. My bad. Boom. Daily sketch done. Daily sketch complete. Let's have a look at that without the canvas. Whoa. Whoa. So that is it, guys. Please like and subscribe. Share if you want to share. And I hope you guys have fun creating your daily sketches. This is Procreate, as I think I did explain. A lot of people do know. You can use Photoshop. You can use Coral Paint, or you can use damn near any of these things. Remember to use the lasso tool. It's important. Remember to use reference. It's more important. And have fun. Create stuff. Be bold. Okay. Like this guy. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.